I think we have to start today's deep dive with a pretty massive sticker shock warning.
Okay.
We are looking at a piece of tech that costs $390.
Wow. Which, for context, is about the price of a pretty decent laptop.
Exactly. But we aren't buying a laptop. We're talking about a single cable.
Single cable.
Yeah, specifically, it's the NTI HD4K18GB-FO-100M-MM.
Hey, a name only a motherboard could love. So in plain English, it's a 100-meter 4K HDMI active optical cable.
So our mission is pretty clear. We need to figure out why on earth anyone would pay nearly $400 for a cable.
And technically how this thing pushes perfect 4K video across, the length of a football field?
Right, because usually a standard copper HDMI cable, it just starts to choke after maybe 25 feet.
Oh, they really do. If you've ever run a long HDMI cable and you see those little sparkles on your TV or the image just cuts out,
All the time.
you've hit the physical limits of copper. The electrical resistance just, eats that signal alive over distance.
Okay, so this NTI cable isn't just a better copper wire. It's changing the physics of the whole thing. This is a hybrid cable, right?
Precisely. It's active optical. If you were to slice this tiny 4.5 millimeter cable open, you wouldn't just find metal.
What would you find?
You'd find 4 fiber optic cores.
Ah, so it's converting the heavy data, the actual video and audio, into pulses of light.
Exactly. And light doesn't have resistance like copper does. That's how they hit 100 meters, which is about 328 feet, with absolutely zero signal loss.
It's essentially shooting lasers down a tiny glass tunnel.
That's a perfect way to put it. But you mentioned it's a hybrid, so there is still some copper in there.
Yeah.
There is. It keeps 7 copper conductors for the lower bandwidth utility stuff. Think of it like the communication signals between your devices. But all the heavy lifting is optical.
And that must give it another huge advantage, right? Immunity to interference.
Spot on. Because light isn't affected by magnetic fields. So if you're running this in a hospital near an MRI machine, or maybe on an airplane...
You don't have to worry about RFI radio frequency interference.
Totally. A long copper wire is basically just a giant antenna waiting to pick up noise. This fiber setup, it's completely immune. The data stays pure.
Now, usually when I hear active cable, I brace myself for a headache.
No.
Active usually means there's a chipset inside that needs power, which means a bulky USB connector or a wall wart right in the middle of your ceiling run.
Which is an absolute nightmare for installers, but this is where the NTI cable pulls a really, really clever trick. It is active, but there's no external power brick.
So how is it parasitic power?
In the best possible way. It just sips the +5 volts directly from the HDMI port of your source device.
An sketch pen.
Specifically from pin 18. As long as your source provides 500 milliamps, which almost all of them do, the cable just powers itself.
That's a massive quality of life feature. You're pulling a cable that's thinner than a pencil through a wall, and you don't have to worry about finding an outlet.
And it's not just long and convenient, it's a bandwidth monster. It supports full Ultra HD 4K at 60 Hz.
And 60 Hz is the key there. That's the smooth motion, not that choppy 30 Hz stuff you sometimes get.
Right. It handles the full 18 gigabits per second of bandwidth. And for the audio files, it passes through Dolby True HD, DTS-HD, master audio. Basically, if the source sends it, this cable delivers it.
It also mentions something called EDID learning, which sounds complicated, but it's actually about avoiding that black screen of death, isn't it?
It is. EDID is basically the digital handshake where your TV tells the source, hey, I'm a 4K screen. Over long distances, that handshake can fail. This cable can actually learn and store that info to make sure the connection is perfect every time.
Okay, so to bring this all back to reality.
Yeah.
If you're just hooking up your PlayStation to a TV that's 3 feet away.
Oh, this is total overkill. Just buy the $10 copper one.
But if you're running a home theater projector across the house, or you're wiring up a medical facility, or a big warehouse,
then you aren't paying for a wire. You're paying for a guarantee. You're paying to move 18 gigs of data across 300 feet without losing a single pixel of clarity.
It really does feel like a shift in how we have to think about connectivity.
It is. I mean, we are hitting the absolute limit of what electricity can do on a metal wire. As we push toward 8K and beyond, the future of cabling just isn't electric anymore, it's optical.
A literal beam of light in the darkness. Thanks for diving in with us.
Anytime.